I'm not a big supporter of AI. I think for maybe special effects and stuff, it's really great.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't believe in m making the AI copy an actor's look or something, because I really believe actors are worth every cent. Their face is there, and
Mhm.
that's their livelihood. So I didn't support that aspect of the streaming channel. But I want you to know what my colleagues all said. Hey, if they want to strike with American actors, we'll shoot in Australia, we'll shoot in England, we'll shoot in France, we'll shoot wherever. I found it so interesting that the actors were taught by SAG and ACTRA together that the streaming channels are the bad people. We're not the bad people. The bad people is SAG, because they can't find work for their clients who pay them dues. When you're in Detroit and the the cars closed down, they strike, the car makers, manufacturers strike, that union pays for their home mortgage or whatever. SAG doesn't do that. ACTRA doesn't do that. It's now one, as you know. Um, it's you got to fend for yourself. If you lose your home, oh well,
Mhm, mhm.
that's wrong. I thought I knew that they would break from the streamers, because the streamers weren't going to break from them. The streamers were just going to say, you know what? If you don't want to do work with us, we'll do AI.
Mhm, mhm.
There's always an actor who looks like an actor.
Right. Yeah. And that's been a
That
bit
walks
of an,
SAG to their knees.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to be political, but I know how the politics play out. SAG has a cushy job: collect dues, have free lunches, and make a few amendments to a contract if asked to.
Mhm.
Um, so all unions are to be wary of. Unless you're doing something for you, they really shouldn't be a union,
Right.
I feel.
Yeah, well, I'm
Yeah.
hearing from just through the group boards, everyone who's talking through SAG and the ACTA, groups about the strike that's been going on. Um,
Right.
and yeah, people have been losing their homes. I mean, granted, there's been a need to push for something to kind of frame out the whole AI idea, but
Hmm.
people have been waiting a long time, and there are lots
Hmm.
of questions about whether or not the deal that's been struck is accomplishing the goal or not, because when someone's fought that fight and lost their house in the process, you really want to make sure it was worth it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
It is something worth fighting for.
right.
That's really, look, I'm not a big supporter of AI. I think for maybe special effects and stuff, it's really great.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't believe in m making the AI copy an actor's look or something, because I really believe actors are worth every cent. Their face is there, and
Mhm.
that's their livelihood. So I didn't support that aspect of the streaming channel. But I want you to know what my colleagues all said. Hey, if they want to strike with American actors, we'll shoot in Australia, we'll shoot in England, we'll shoot in France, we'll shoot wherever.
Sure.
It
Mhm.
doesn't matter. There's always somebody who wants to make a movie.
Yeah.
And they're right. Hundreds of our movies are coming from foreign countries.
And it goes to what we were talking about too before about hiring talent and the talent being fenced off from the offers. People, there's a line between how much people have to push for and how much you really
Yeah.
want and need to work when you're not like part of the, like you said, the top 5%. Because I've wondered
Yes.
sometimes with some of the offers on the table, and then this goes to pitching projects, what there've been actors that haven't seen in a while,
Yeah.
they were doing a lot of stuff 10 years ago or 15 years ago, and you want to find out if they're interested in an offer, and you can't even talk to them, but you're not seeing them on more stuff. And I think, well, maybe they'd be really upset if they found out there was an offer and
Yeah.
someone was saying no to it on their behalf.
The great actors, Adrian Brody is one. He reads everything that's sent to him through his
Right.
agent. He's a wonderful person. He gave me a letter, unfortunately, Lionsgate wouldn't do the movie, Purgatory. And so then I lost him. He's working a lot now.
Mhm.
Guy Pearce is another one that reads everything. Just really nice. Dermot Mulroney, he's turned me down, but he's called me up and said, this is why I'm turning it down. There are those actors, and then you have the actors that put up the barriers, speak to my agent.
Yeah.
And those are the difficult ones. And normally, look what happened to Kiefer Sutherland. He was one of those guys. It was always talk to my agent, don't talk to me. I knew his father real well.
Mhm.
Donald and I go back a long time, you know. Um, and I would say, Kiefer, I know your dad. Yeah, I know, but go to my agent. He
Mhm.
didn't work for how many years? Kiefer did not work.
Mhm.
Um, Anyway, and I offered him something in New Brunswick, and he said to me, I'll never go to New Brunswick. My father's from there. I'm never going there. But now he's changed his tune and
Mhm.
he's working like crazy again.
Yeah.
So he's back on the boards. So
Yeah.
it's not easy. It's everybody's running around with a phone camera shooting movies. I mean, it's a crazy time.
Yeah.
But it can be done. It's persistent, and I get turned down all the time. People say, "Well, you've made 17 movies." I go, "Yeah, maybe it was an accident. I don't know. Maybe I made it happen. I don't know, but I'm not stopping right now. As I say, I'm focusing on my streaming channel. I'm focusing on taking people's projects and trying to find a home, both scripts and movies and series. And this is what I find is better for me because there's a lot of people out there that need to place their material, a lot of content that isn't being seen in Hollywood,
Yeah.
just not.
Yeah. Well, and that brings me to the obvious question then. What is it that you're working on right now? Is there a slate going on that you're dealing with, or
Uh,
is it strictly focused on
mm,
building streaming stuff?
I'm focusing on finding material that is already made, if possible, that hasn't been able to sell it. And then I've been going to the buyers. I have 3,000 buyers.
Mhm.
And sometimes I'm able to get it up on Roku, and other times it's not coded properly, so Roku won't accept it. And I have limited funds like everybody else in the world today because there's inflation going on, in case we haven't noticed. So then I email and a log line and maybe a trailer or something saying, do you want to look at this film for a potential sale? And I'm one of these people that says, uh, no, no offer will be ignored. In other words, if you can afford 5,000, 10,000 for one city or one state or whatever, we'll listen to it. Doesn't mean we'll do it because it's not me, it's the filmmaker who says yes or no.
Mhm.
But I've been able to take a film that was made in India and plant that. I had to do all the dialogue, reloop it and all that, but that's cheap now. So we do that too. And
Mhm.
we sell it to other territories. I've got a couple of deals in Australia, a remake of Pollyanna with Sam Neill. That's got Australian money, like 50%. And I just brought that over to Universal. It just is whatever I can move, frankly. Again, I'm not a miracle worker. I'm not famous. I wish, but I'm not. And I probably will never be famous. But the bottom line is I'm not a quitter.
Mhm.
So I love the industry. So I'm not going to walk from it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one of the things as time's gone on, that I feel anyway, is that the fame element isn't really what you want in the end anyway. I mean, when you get it, you
Yeah.
realize that it's not the important part. I mean, getting the story out and having something of value that people get excited about, that's what's really exciting.
Right. Hmm.
People get excited. It's nice to have that moment of attention, to get the attention on the project, because that's what being an artist or a creator, a producer is about. Look what I've done, and then
Yeah.
you want to still be able to go have your coffee without, being, inundated for
Yeah.
fame
Yeah.
reasons.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
people in the industry in Hollywood and not all of them. I mean, there's all different ones, but They hold grudges. Something else I didn't realize, when we did American Sunset, that just, got retitled. And nobody, I had a deal to take the movie out, and they held on to it like Sound of Freedom because they didn't like Corey Haim. Corey had taken the Showtime. It was where I had my deal at Showtime. And Gary Garfunkel is now passed, but he said, I'm going to hold on to this movie. I'm not going to release it because he stole my girlfriend.
Oh. Mm.
That's a true story.
Mm.
Go, why?
Yeah.
There's other girls. There's not just one.
Mm.
There's tons.
Yeah.
So they hold grudges too, and that's a true story. And so those things come up. Those things come up,
Yeah.
and you have to be careful. I just reunited with female producer Mary Allo, who she and I had oh, we did it. We're going to do a movie called Frail with Wilkerson, when it was at Tom Wilkerson, when he was at the height of his career. And she jumped the gun and went to William Morris when Cassian Elways was there. And he said, let's put Rachel Bilson in it. And she goes, we have deal done. We're putting Rachel Bilson in it. So I go to Tom Wilkerson and I go, like, Rachel Bilson. He goes, I'm not working with her. He
Mm.
said, deal's off the table. I'm out of the picture.
No.
Oh my gosh, Murray got mad at me. I go, I didn't know. How would I know? How would I know? So I had to call up Cassian Elways and explain the truth. The truth, painful as it was, he doesn't want to work with your client. What can I do? And Cassian to this day remembers me for being brave enough to make that phone call because Mary wouldn't do it.
No.
And
And
now
it's big 'cause
recently from AFM, she said, let's bury the hatchet. I go, I never had a hatchet,
well, and you think when you hear about a lot of these big deals that don't come together because it's such a complex business, it's got to do
Yeah,
something with it must have something to do with a complex component of financing or the deal structure. Sometimes it just comes down to personalities. It's amazing,
yeah,
how little grievances can turn into big deal killers.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the highs are high and the lows are low.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And all of us want to be successful. And
Yeah.
sometimes we just make mistakes. As I said, nobody sets out to do a bad movie.